Dr. Jazz.
For taking the time, I appreciate it.
Dr. Jazz.
Oh, my pleasure.
Greetings from Maribor, where you played already. So,
Yeah.
but I wanted to ask you about, I'll just jump in, and I've been a fan for your music for years, and I had a tour now in October with Endresen, with whom you play a lot also.
Oh, you're the guy who played with him and with
Bob Moses, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ariel told me about this.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
2 long tours. But it was fun.
It's Bob Moses. I remember him playing with Chick Corea and these things.
Yeah.
And there was it's so many years ago, I don't remember. But he's still up and going, and
yeah. I mean, he's health-wise, it's a little bit, but yeah, it's
they are getting old, these guys.
Yeah, it's when you're the young guy and the band leader. I had to carry everything and all that. I was so tired in the end, man. I was just exhausted. Like, oh fuck,
you have to bring a
roadie. Yeah. But otherwise, I want to start with Stitches, and I listened just to this album today in the morning, and we have like a foggy day here, and kind of suited the environment. And how did you get this group together? I really like the pedal steel guitar. It adds such a different vibe to your music and actually suits it well. How did you get it together?
Well, quite a few years ago, almost 10 years ago, I started to think about the sound of the pedal steel. And that I really wanted to, because this was at the time where I had a band with Stian Westerhus and Erlien Dalen, the drummer. And and that was also something I wanted to that's why I asked these guys, like Stian and Erlien, because I wanted to have something raw and something more, I wouldn't say rock, but more kind of raw, dark kind of vibe to it. And then it got kind of, I wanted to go a different way. Stian was leaving the band, and then I thought, okay. And then I heard this beautiful bass player, Jo Berge Myhre. And then I thought, first of all, I tried to ask Stian if I should buy him a pedal steel. No, you don't have to do that, but then there is a guy called Geir Synstel, very, very good player here in Norway. So he wanted to join the band. And with Joe, he is, and what I really wanted was more to make a band than to be that I kind of decides everything. Say, if you go there, in a way you can do, but still to have people that come up with such good ideas that you don't have to. So it's more like a unity. And so this is what I've been thinking about. For the last 10 years almost.
Yeah.
And also that they can come with their compositions, they come with songs, and we kind of make it like a band do,
Yeah.
So and then Geir, the pedal player from Norway, Geir Synstel, his daughter, he lived alone with his daughter, and she had started school. And then it became really difficult for him to travel.
Sure.
So he decided he'd stay home with the child, and I can understand that. So I asked this Swedish Johan Lindström to join in, and he wanted to do it, and he's an amazing musician. So, but he's also very busy. So I have like 2 different setups. It's a trio, which we have done quite a bit lately, which works very well. And it's more space, more open, and it goes in all kind of different directions. Yeah. But then when he comes in, it's kind of, again, it adds his colors to the whole thing. Next year we're going to do a quartet for sure, touring. Yeah. And he played both guitar, and he plays also. He also played the pedal steel, of course. Yes, because I love that sound.
Yeah, you know, it's such a with your trumpet.
That is what I was thinking. I mean, imagine this, just these things, you know, and you play on top of it, you know. So yeah, no, I really like the pedal steel.
Yeah, it suits your music so nicely. It's like this strange, bizarre mix of something American with Scandinavian. You know, it's like this, like what's happening? I love it. It's very.
In 100 years ago, a lot of Norwegians went to America. It doesn't have anything to do with this. It has to do with just this feeling of there is something forgiving about the sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like like, but it has this kind of forgiving thing, but can also be pretty rough, you know, like when Johan plays, at least. So yeah,
it's a beautiful sound. Like you said, you guys work like a band together. Like, how does it work when you just write a melody, like a short sketch or some chords, or like how does the process go there?
Well, mostly Joe comes with also with melodies, and he comes with compositions, and sometimes Erlien and me, and then we just kind of merge it together. So it can sometimes be like some arpeggio riffs, and then make a melody on top of it, and we just stay in the studio for like a week and record a lot, and then kind of just pick out what is working. So yeah, but that's this project. I have another one now with I recorded with symphony orchestra.
Oh, really?
Some of my old songs. So this is gonna come out in 23, and then I have this project for 24, which is called Be Quiet, where I go to a lot of different artists, and I make one song with them, like from all kind of genres, like everything from Japanese koto to song sextet, to improvising quartet, to Blood of Delay, to Nils Fram, to all kind of and Alvanoto. I asked Daniel Lanois. He has been sick, but he was interested. But I just have to figure out. So a lot of I'm gonna go to do one song with many different people, and more as a thing to kind of get rid of this genre thing, because that can be very limiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what is this? Is this new jazz, Scandinavian jazz? Is it music to make egg and bacon by? What is it? There's all this kind of genre thing. So for me, it's very much about either it's good music in my you or it's not. Basically, it's yeah.
No, but with you, I get this feeling. It's like you are not really genre oriented, you know. I think it's like really. Everything glued together.
Yeah, it's like if you start to put everything in small boxes, I think it's kind of important that it sort of can slide into each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's there are people in the house. Ska jag hjälpa dig? In the house. Yes. So I basically like a little of this, a little of that, and you can get the inspiration from anything, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Where do you think this comes with you? Like, I mean, like mid-70s when you were a teenager. What was your excitement for music? I mean, like, because you grew up in an era where fusion was, and there was still traditional jazz, Scandinavian jazz was really strong going with ECM and Barbaric.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I like all kind of things, basically. I was very much into, I played in rock bands, I played drums, I played bass, guitar,
really?
all kinds in rock bands, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I played in a big band, and I played in marching band. And I played football, and I was running. So I was quite active, more than now. Yeah, I was into all kind of things, and I really liked Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
And I liked early Deep Purple. I liked Miles. I liked all the. What else did I listen to? Sonny Rollins. I remember.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, but you know, when you're a kid, you're more into rock, you know.
Yeah.
And so I liked Deep Purple and rock, and you know these things. Chicago, Chicago.
Oh songs. Man, yeah, sure, incredible.
I was totally into that.
Really, and, I wouldn't think that.
Blood, Sweat and Tears, and these things also. So basically, and then later in the 70s, I really liked Woody Shaw. I listened to Freddie Hubbard. And then at one point I got and then we started to play with the Masqualero in the beginning of the 80s. And that kind of developed. And at one point I felt a little bit like I was fighting with my instrument more than using it. You know what I mean?
In what sense?
Because I was kind of tired of trumpet, the sound, everything. And then I started to work with this traditional singer, Sondre Bratland. And we were talking, and because I was envying the saxophone, because it has all these different. It can just go crazy. It can be very soft. And you have this. You have the arpeggio things, and you have all this kind of possibility to make aggressive sounds.
Yeah,
which is not just beep, you know, like the trumpet. And so in a way, I was a bit tired of the trumpet, but then I started to think, and this guy says, you know, it's the closest thing you have to your voice, you know. And then I started to really look for what kind of sound do I like to have, and of course I also heard John Hassel, which was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I started to get really interested in music from Asian music and the Middle East, and the duduk and the ney flute and the shakuhachi flute and all these kind of things. But most of all, I think voices, human voices, was what was. So to try to get this kind of feeling into what I did or what I do. I think this is. I try not to think so much about it. I just try to kind of follow my my heart, maybe,
yeah,
and how I want to sound. I'm not trying to sound, not trying to impress. I'm not trying to play very, very fast all the time and to do giant steps up and down and all these kind of things. I find not so interesting musically.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that is kind of the direction I have been going. So I rather and also the focus, just to you can play one sound note and kind of just that there is a lot in one note, that there is you in that note. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I mean. I hear you play two notes, and it's I know it's you. I mean, also your entire package, because the entire sound of your group, you know, and
they are incredible. It's I'm so happy for these guys, and yes, and we are very good friends, and we just we just there, and it can be like really extremely tiring travels these days.
Sure.
But when we come on the stage, it's just like we just, you know, it's like 1.5 hours of meditation together.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's the nice part, right? Yeah. But
oh, absolutely.
You mentioned Masqualero. I wanted to ask you, like, I know Ariel and Jon and I think Tore, they're like one generation older than you are, a little bit, 10 years, I think, or something like that.
Tore is my age, actually.
But Jon and Ariel are older, right?
They are, yeah, they were like,
or...
and then we had also Jon Balke.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh yeah.
Like, so he was like, I don't know how old he is now, maybe 65 or something like this, 66 maybe. So no, he was the guy in the middle, and Ariel and Jon, of course. And then Jon passed away 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah. How was it for you? Like, how did you actually enter that band and playing with those guys? You know, they did everything already in the 70s. I mean, Jon and Ariel especially, like an incredible amount of music.
Well, it was actually I was at the music conservatory in Trondheim, and I just been there 1 year, and then I felt it wasn't for me. You know, it was like there was some really, really cool teachers, but there was some kind of things that they did that I found extremely boring, and that I felt this should not have anything to do with what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was just like 20, 21, so I had a lot of energy. and then I was asked by Jon Balke, actually, if I wanted to come and play on a theater play in Oslo. And it was fantastic musician. It was Jon Balke. It was Audun Kleive.
Oh wow, okay.
And Erik, saxophone player, which is Jon's brother, and Finn Sletten, who's a percussion player from the north, very nice, and a trombone player called Torbjørn Sunde. So, and me, and we were all dressed up as I was like an owl, you know, like the like a transsexual owl with pink tights and high heel shoes and a lot of makeup and this kind of, and we were just it was a children's play. So yeah, I was doing this, and then they were playing a concert in Kongsberg, which has a big festival also.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a trio gig, but then they asked me and Tore if we wanted to join. So me and Tore just went there. I don't remember so much from that concert, but but apparently it was very good. So, and Tore was still in Trondheim, so he just came down from Trondheim to do it. And then we just started, and we did an album, the first album, which was basically me and Tore, who had because we were like young, talented musicians, and we got the offer to do a record in Audun, which was the jazz label in Norway at those days. And then, of course, we asked them because we had the band, and to play with John Christensen and Arild, it was like, yeah. So we did that album, and then suddenly we started to travel around the world to play. So I never went back to the conservatory. I just had 1 year permission, but I never went back. So since that, I've just been living from making music. And also in those days, it was very little. There wasn't so many trumpet players in Oslo, so suddenly I was playing in like 10 different bands or something. So I was playing all the time.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I had to focus more on the Masqualero, and I had some other played in the horn section with John Eberson, and Sidsel and Endresen was in the band, and we had a band called the Jazz Punk Ensemble. So yeah, there was a lot of things happening. It was really, really, really cool
era. Yeah. How was it for you, those first tours with Masqualero? I mean, you guys went all over.
Yeah, well, it was really nice. I mean, I remember we did a tour in Poland, and I met Thomas Stanko first time.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I remember, and we were driving in a bus, the same bus as the football team of Poland used when they were traveling.
Oh wow, okay.
It was, and I remember we came to an accident, and it was really, really exciting. Playing for a totally full sala Khmer show with maybe 5,000 people.
Wow.
And I remember us playing also in East Berlin.
Oh wow, in the 80s. Wow.
85 or something. And we had a double concert with Loose Tubes, you know, Django Bates' band.
Man, really? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's when I met Django first time, and Ian and Martin France and all these beautiful musicians. So yeah, we were in America, played several gigs in America, and
you went there. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't remember if we played in Japan actually with Masqualero. I don't remember. It's 40 years ago.
Yeah, I know, it's a long one. But in that era, you started working also with ECM, and
yeah.
How was that first contact with Manfred and you working for that label, like in the 80s? I mean,
yeah, I mean, Masqualero, Arild and John had done a lot, and so we did 2 albums. Yeah, or three maybe.
3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, Manfred was. I mean, ECM was and still is one of the most important labels, I would say, last 50 years.
Oh, definitely.
So it was very nice, and we went into with Jan Erik in Rainbow Studio, and then I also got to do an album with Robin Shukovsky, which was more from my side, very improvised. I think we did the whole album in 3 hours or something.
Oh wow, okay.
And so this Hastening Westwards, it's called. And of course with Sidsel and Endresen, we did the 2 or 3 albums. that's when and Django was there, and John and me and Sidsel. Yeah, and then I was like, I wanted to do something for myself, and I started really. I had a computer like 89 or something, 90.
Oh, already? Oh, okay, wow.
So I was sitting there, and I remember I had a sampler. I could sample 2 seconds, and it was like, wow, you know. and this Akai S1000. And anyway, so, but I was just working then, and I was doing stuff and playing stuff, and I had made a studio in my bedroom, and then I thought I wanted to do an album of my own, so I started to work with this guy Holand, who had a studio on the 2nd floor of the Rainbow Studio.
Oh, wow, okay.
We just called it Over the Rainbow. And so I was working there in between. So he was doing things for rock and pop and like Aha and all these kind of guys. He did a lot of things, but in between I was there, and then Manfred was like, I asked him, and he said, yeah, sure. But it took like a long time. It was like 3-4 years of, and me, I played a lot of things. I played percussion, I played the guitar, I played the bass on most of the songs. So it was a kind of a really putting together and samples, and then I got this commission piece in a festival, and then I thought, this is, because then I had money. They gave me money, so I could really just, okay, I want to do something. I want to have visuals. And then I had time to really work on that project as a live thing. So we went up and we did it, and then we went to the studio and just finished it. So I finished the album that year. And then suddenly they called me from Universal in Germany, and it's like, yeah, come down here. And they had this huge stack of CDs. So we want remixes, and so who do you want remixes from? And it's like, well, I didn't even know what a remix was, basically. So, or I did know.
Yeah.
I did. So, but anyway, so yes, we got Matthew Herbert, we got lots of people. I also had some swap, like Mental Overdrive did one. So Helge Steen, Death Rod from Super Silent. So yeah, no, it was basically, and then suddenly it became like, and then suddenly we travel around the world.
Yeah, that must have been,
yeah. So yeah, and from there I just tried to follow, to explore different kind of things. I didn't want to stay in the Khmer world the rest of my life.
Sure.
Even though we're going to do it again now. They asked us from the Vossayas can you do it? Because I've been asked many times if I want to put this on the road again. And I always said, because I wanted to focus on what I'm doing now. But then they asked, and I thought, sure, I mean, why not? And then, so we're going to do it in the end of March, and then we're going to do maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 concerts only.
Oh, man.
Like really very exclusive thing. And everybody is like, yeah, let's do it, you know. All the guys in the band. So we're going to do a little bit of that. But mostly I want to play with my band, you know. Yeah.
But were you aware when you did Khmer, like, you know, that you were part of creating almost something new? I mean, in the jazz influenced world, that back then, or not really, because you were part of it, and I mean, made it in a way.
Yeah. No, I never ever thought of it like that.
Okay.
I just wanted to. I really. I liked. I remember. I liked some of the massive attack stuff. I liked some of the Berlin minimalistic techno kind of groovy. Moritz. What was the name of their label again? I don't remember.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and also, you know, I went to clubs. I listened to like Detroit people, Todd Terry, all this from Kevorkian, you know, all these kind of things. So I really liked this kind of trancey house ritual kind of deep, not the soap things, but where a lot of strange things are happening.
Yeah,
you know, you have the grooves, and it's like, and so I even used to do gigs in clubs with DJs. So in Oslo. So yeah, so it just became like a natural thing, and I remember this English, Massive Attack. Björk came with her first album.
Oh yeah,
these things. So I was kind of, and still really liking all the other stuff. So it was like I thought, okay, I thought like, okay, I will try to kind of merge all these kind of things together and try to make it like an organic thing.
Yeah.
But I never ever thought about that it was going to be so well received. I wasn't even so. But also Bugge did an album, New Conception, which was also in the same kind of.
Yeah. And Eivind, right? Aarset also kind of in that era.
Yeah, kind of, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember when his first album came, but Eivind was a very important part of Khmer, I must say. So So, but it's always like this, and always it's like I ask people because they have they do what they do, and then I want them to do what they do. I don't want them to do what I tell them to do.
Sure.
You know. So it's about finding a nice way to connect people. I think a little bit like a lot of the. I think a lot of the bands, late 60s, beginning of the 70s, that Miles said, I think he let people just play.
Yeah.
It was like, so in a way, it's a bit like this. Yeah, I just ask people because they do what they do, and then sometimes you can say, "Can you do that line? Can you do that line?" But mostly it's a lot about freedom to make your impact on the music. You know?
Yeah. No, it's interesting, like, because you know, I did this talk with Magnus Öström, the drummer from Asbjørn Svensson trio.
Oh yeah.
And those guys also changed, in a way, the jazz world in their own, you know, piano trio sense. And it's interesting, like being part of creating something new that you're not even aware that you're making a huge change in the music. It's quite interesting if you think about it.
No, but you cannot think like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible to do it properly and to actually think like that, because then it kind of doesn't become organic. It becomes like a planned thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you just do what you feel like doing and not thinking, oh, I'm going to change the music.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, that is so fucking, it's like narcissistic kind of
no.
crazy stuff. So it just has to come from
the heart, like
from the
yeah. On the wings of all that what you were creating, how did then these associations started to happen? Like, you know, with Sly and Robbie, that's like I played in a
Oh,
reggae
yeah.
band for 10 years, and when I saw that album, I was like, what the, you know, how did that begin? I mean,
Well, I was also, because I did this solo project with just trumpet and processing sounds and with the computer, and I did a solo thing in Jakarta, I think, in Indonesia, on a festival there, or South Korea. I don't remember. It was in Asia somewhere. And then this guy from Netherlands called Mark van der Berg come up to me and say, "Oh, yeah, it's really nice, you know. How would you like to work with Sly Robbie?" And I was like, I remember I saw Sly Robbie in the Taxi Gang in Club 7, or it's called in Norway, in the mid-80s, and it was like, wow, it was so cool. And I said, well, sure, that would be nice. And then I thought, okay. And then I didn't hear anything. And then suddenly they called, and we went down to this castle in France for a week, just rehearsing and playing, and went on tour. And then I have a friend in Norway, has a studio. He's a film guy, actually. And we had 3 days off. We played in Oslo, and we had 3 days off, and just went into the studio and recorded lots and lots and lots.
Wow.
So yeah, and then also I was a bit like when I was Sly Robbie, and then I said, okay, I want to have Eivind there, and I'd like to have Vladislav delay there.
Yeah,
also Sasu, to kind of create this balance, you know. So it's not just
a groove. Yeah.
It can be so it has this kind of thing around it. So yeah, and then we did the album, and yeah, we did 2 or 3 tours, I think. And at the end, Robbie was very sick. He already, when we started, he had this diabetes. So I had a pump. And I remember one time on stage, he was standing there and playing, and suddenly he's got this kind of distant look in his eyes.
Oh shit!
And so they run up on stage and put a lot of chocolate bars. So he was like, and then he continued, you know. So yeah, no, that was it was quite amazing, I must say. It was really, really, really nice.
Yeah.
And wonderful experience.
Yeah, it's incredible that you did that. I would never expect that, you know, Jamaica meets Norway. Like, you know.
Well, then again, this is because all these genres is
like you said,
yeah.
You still like doing this? You know, I have you on all the Dhafer Youssef albums also, and like being in brackets a sideman, you know.
Yeah, it's I have to be a little bit careful, but sometimes definitely and Dhafer, fantastic singer, and like a power plant. So I love to do things with him, and if people I like ask, like Erlien, Masur, or Bill Laswell, or you know.
How did Bill find you, by the way? Or did you find him? Or
well, I first time we met was in a festival in Germany or Austria or something, and I saw him, and I went over to him and he said, "Hey, my name is blah blah blah," and I must tell you, I have sampled one little line from one of your songs and put it on my album. Is that okay? And then he started laughing, like really hard, and then he said, well, I probably sampled it from somewhere in the first place. So it was, and then we kind of became friends, and we had a band together. We went on tour. We did an album called Dub Chamber 3.
Yeah.
And then he invited me to come and play with Tabla Beat Science with Sakir.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit like this. Also with Mino, it was Sinelu. It was, I was playing in Cappadocia solo again.
Interesting.
And I saw him, and of course knew who he was. I saw him sitting next to the mixing guy, and then I just closed my eyes and I started to play, and then I opened the eyes 1 hour later, and he was still there, which was like, wow. And then we took the same car together back to the airport the next day, and I was like, yeah, man, we have to do something. And I was like, yes, that would be nice. And and we were invited again to come and play in France with Ibrahim Malouf, put together some kind of big thing with, I think, with people people that maybe had been important for him when he grew up.
Yeah.
So it was me and Erik Truffaz was there, and Mino, and I don't remember everybody actually. A guy called M, who was a big star in France. I think he is from he's North African somewhere, maybe Algeria. So anyway, and then we talked about it again, and then I was asked if I wanted to do something on a festival in Trondheim, again a bit like Khmer.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, this is a very good opportunity, because then I have money to pay him. And we just met in Oslo, went to the studio, did a lot of things, and then we went up to Trondheim and we played this concert. And Sting was playing the same night. So he went up to see Sting, and he was playing a little bit with him and all this kind of. It's got time. So yeah, and then we started to record. We started to record stuff, and I went over to Brooklyn, and I was there 1 week, and I just got home before Corona.
Wow, yeah.
We were supposed to play, I think we were supposed to play something like 40, 50 concerts, and then everything closed down.
Wow.
So it was, that was, and now it's kind of, it just went out into the sand in a way.
Yeah.
If you can say that.
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So basically, and also the stitches was like, we had to pick up. He came from Sweden. Johan, he's Swedish. And we had to pick him up at the airport and drive him straight out to the studio, and he wasn't allowed to get out of the studio because of the. And so everything was done like in.
It's crazy.
In these kind of, but then also at that time I started to do more like music for movies and for theater and ballets and things. So it kind of. And I kind of like that to have this. If I don't go on tour for a long time, I start to feel like, Jesus, what am I doing? I want to go out and play, you know?
Yeah.
But then if you've been on tour for 14 days, you get like really, or 3 weeks, you get.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I have this kind of balance, so I can. So I have now just this year. I think I did to 3 movies.
Really?
And two theater pieces at least. No, 3 theater pieces I did. And some ballet music, and then I have a big ballet thing for 2024, and
okay.
I have 2 more movies, and I have 2 albums, and I have a lot of touring. So it's like really, really full.
That's busy, man. Okay,
it's busy. So I have to start looking after myself.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to start running in the park.
Yes. Oh man, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. But cool. Great, Nils
Yeah.
Petter. I will not take more of your time so that you can.
It was very nice to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. So thanks so much for sharing some of your thoughts, and I'm looking forward to the new quartet album when it comes out. So.
Yeah.
So
I hope to see you somewhere.
Yes, me too. And.
Dr. Jazz.